Hi, you're watching Your Trades with me, Shreyansi Singh and Snehisha on ET Now. And over the next half an hour, we'll take you through news and updates and whatever happened in the market session today. Well, let's take a look at what happened really, because on the Nifty, what you saw was that auto performed really well. So you did have Eicher Motors, Maruti Suzuki, M contributing to the Nifty today. Nifty, of course, closed above at 22,600 levels today. And when you're looking at big contributors, you've also got the likes of Tata Steel doing well. You've got the likes of Axis Bank as well, or an NTPC, SBI Life. All of them held up pretty well when you look at what happened in trade today. On the other side, then you did have Infosys or TCS, HDFC Bank also not going home with a cut and not doing all that well then. And there was of course HCL Tech, LTI Mindtree, all of those counters from the pact that weren't doing all that well today in trade. And in terms of sectors then, you did of course have auto leading with Eicher Motors, Maruti Suzuki and M&M contributing. You did have the realty pact that held up quite well, went home with an uptake of 1.3% as well. And then on the other side, you did have PSU Bank that was lagging behind in trade. So that is largely the handover coming in from the market today. Now, of course, you can't be looking away from Nykaa or even Pharma today. And Exide as well, that was up in trade after South Korean auto giants Hyundai and Kia announced that partnership coming in for Exide. Definitely a positive. And what they're going to be doing is that they're looking at EV battery localization in India. So that's definitely a key partnership, and that impact was definitely seen on the stock of Exide. Now, moving on then, when you look at Infoedge as well, Infoedge went home with a lot of gains as well, and Infoedge reported its fourth quarter numbers. Of course, you did have the company posting over a 10% surge in standalone billings, and there's of course that cheer coming in from those couple of notes coming in on Infoedge from Citi that upgraded the counter, as well as Nomura that maintained a buy. And that is something the stock is definitely reacting to that. It was rather, and we did have the stock price singing along to that tune, Snehi.
Well, absolutely. With that, let's also take a look at what else made the news in today's market session, a session where we scaled fresh highs today, but we came very close to breaking that record as well today, just 5 points away, but managed to somehow not break that 697 mark that we did see coming in on Nifty today. So Nifty highest point today, 22,697. Not able to break that, but well, we'll see what tomorrow's trading session holds for us. Other than all the stocks that have that Shreyansi already mentioned in today's trading session, let's also shift focus and talk about the quarter 4 updates that we did coming today, because we did see quite a host of those updates coming in, the likes of Voltas, very strong quarter 4 updates coming in. They've celebrated the highest ever landmark of 2 million AC unit sales in FY 23-24. That's a big number coming in. Stock price also held up smartly, 6% in today's trading session. Tata Steel largely inline numbers, but with what the street was expecting. So well, 1% uptick, but not much happening when it comes to Tata Steel. That stock was surprisingly down despite a decent set, I wouldn't say very bad set of, but a decent set of numbers coming in for REC as well. Keystone also a decent set of numbers coming in, with the stock ended the day on a flat note. And Prestige also quite a good set of numbers coming in, or at best you could say a decent set of numbers coming in, but that stock also ended the day with a cut of 1%. So largely this is what happened in the markets today. On the back of all of these updates coming in and the rather mixed set that we did see today, the broader markets have underperformed benchmarks today. So we'll see what tomorrow's trading session pans out to be like. And last, let's also take you through an ED Now exclusive where power discom reforms are on the card, and now we are learning from our sources that power is a sector that's going to be in focus, because the new government is likely to initiate big reforms in the power sector. Discom reforms which could include fresh package of 1 lakh crore for the power sector. So we'll take you through more details on that as well. But let's put with the markets now, and let's understand today's trading move, and to help make sense of what the move was like today and what we can expect going into tomorrow's trading session. We are now being joined by a technical expert, Mileen Vasudeo, senior technical analyst at Arihant Capital Markets. Hi Mileen, thanks so much for taking the time out and joining us today. Well, yet another record high for Nifty, and we came very close to just 5 points close to breaking that level again before we slipped a little in today's market trading session. So help us understand this move that we're seeing on the street largely, and are you forecasting a new record high for our trading sessions tomorrow?
Good afternoon. See, if you see Nifty today, it opened up with a gap. And the gap area is in the range of 22,537 to 22,550. And this gap has remained unfilled. So clearly the undertone in the market is very positive, and buy and decline strategies should be adopted in this market. And we are of the opinion that in a couple of days' time, yes, Nifty is going to head towards say 22,800 and 23,000 levels. So one should trade with positive bias in Nifty also. And coming to Bank Nifty, if you see Bank Nifty also today came very close to its all-time high, but then again made a doji kind of a pattern on the daily chart. So we could consolidate in Bank Nifty, but overall it looks very positive, and Bank Nifty has got good support at 40,400 to 48,200 levels. On the higher side, yes, once 48,730 level is being crossed, then you could see good upside momentum in Bank Nifty also, and Bank Nifty could head towards say 49,000 in couple of weeks.
Absolutely. Well, that is about the Bank Nifty India. But which are the stocks where you're seeing value emerging then?
See, there are two stocks which really one is GAIL, currently trading at 200. If you see GAIL on the daily chart, it has gone up with huge volume, and the volume behavior is very positive. One can trade, keep a stop of 190. On the higher side, you could this stock can test the levels of 220, 230 levels. The second stock is Escort, which is currently trading at 3081 somewhere. A stop loss of 2970. On the higher side, yes, it could test the levels of 3250 and 3320 in couple of days' time.
All right, Mileen, thanks for taking us through your market outlook and your stock picks as well. On that note, we'll let you go. Thanks for joining us. But with that, let's keep it going with the technical. Let me take it across to my colleague Shrishti, who's joined us in the studio with her technical today. Shrishti, what has made it to your radar today?
So two counters on the breakouts. Firstly, let's have a look at Eicher Motors, the stock which has touched all-time high levels in today's trading session. It was a slow mover, rather I would call it a laggard when we see the return on a YTD basis. But in today's trading session, the stock was on the roll, up more than 4% today. And what a strong green candle you can see on the charts. And what was interesting to say that the stock actually managed to break past its earlier highs of 4,200, which was a bit of a resistance for this particular counter, and then managed to take a bounce above its 20-day moving average, as well as today's was also supported by a long build up. So that is the first counter we wish to highlight on the breakout side. But moving on to the next counter then, and that too is from the large cap space where we wish to highlight the breakout. We are looking at NTPC. The stock is NTPC, where we see that the stock was on the roll. The stock almost managed to end the day towards day's highest point. If we talk about see this particular counter, the stock was under pressure in the month of March with the sell-off that we have seen happening. Other than that, it managed to move above its 20-day moving average and now trading at its all-time high levels. So this was the chart of NTPC that we wish to highlight. So these are the two counters on the breakout side. Back to you.
All right, thanks Srishti for those two counters. So Eicher Motors and NTPC made to Srishti's list. But moving on then, Sridhar Shivaram, Investment Director, Holdings, prefers PSU Banks over private banks. He also believes that the pace of profit growth for PSU Banks will reduce. However, there is room for the stock to do well. Listen in to what else he had to say.
I still love PSU Banks because I think that the valuations are very supportive. My personal view that PSU Banks continue to do well. PSU Banks in general, my favorite, but private sector banks come very close. If you look at the last 3 years, the profit growth of PSU banks have outpaced the stock performance growth. So they got derated, which people don't realize. Their profit growths have been so strong that the stock prices haven't kept pace with that. So my view is that the pace of profit growth for PSU banks will come down, but they still have room for performance.
Alright, that's the word from the voice of the day from Sridhar Shivaram of Enam Holdings. But let's get a move on then. And D Street continues to party at life highs. There's no stopping for our markets, and this run has taken the BSE's listed universe's market cap above the 400 lakh rupee mark for the first time. However, incremental demat account additions have slowed down for the second straight month. Sharad is joining us with the analysis and to explain this contradiction. Sharad, over to you.
Well, a very interesting update coming in when it comes to BSE listed companies, their market cap that has touched the 400 lakh crore mark for the first time. Interestingly, these important milestones, if you have a look, for 2014, it was first time it had hit 100 lakh crore, and it took 7 years to reach the 200 lakh crore figure. But after that, the pace has been very fast. You can look at almost it took 2 years to jump from 200 to 300 lakh crore, and even less than a year, if you look at the numbers, it has jumped 300 lakh crore to 400 lakh crore rupees. And of course, benchmark indices are also at their all-time high levels. And interestingly, if you look at the BSE 500 index top movers, there are certain names coming from the defense and the PSU segment, IRFC being at the top, almost 350% up. And these are numbers since July 2023, since the last time BSE's total market cap listed companies had hit the 300 lakh crore mark. Cochin Shipyard, NBCC coming into the list. And also, we are having SGVN RPL also giving almost 2 to 3 times returns to the shareholders. We are having Tata Investment and Kalyan Jewellers making it to the list. This is the overall euphoria, you could say, or a rise in the market cap of the BSE companies. But on the other hand, let's look at the demat additions. That's a big number. Overall, the 15 crore addition has happened in the total numbers coming in the month of March itself. But there is a slight dip when it comes to the incremental demat account additions. And of course, February and March month did see a lot of volatility happening, and that itself, if you look at it, for the second straight month, the incremental demat accounts actually fell. Now, if you look at the numbers, it's 28% on a month-on-month basis when it comes to the incremental demat accounts. Well, the total demat accounts itself also kind of, the growth tapered down if you look at it on a month-on-month basis. So this is the overall two sides of the coin. One side is the market capitalization going up, while the other side, the incremental demat account addition, that has been slipping.
All right, thanks, Sharad. That roundup. Time for a quick break right here on Your Trades. Then when we come back, we'll take a look at the derivatives roundup and see how it's shaping up. Welcome back. Thank you so much for staying tuned in. Well, let's get a little more stock specific then and take a look at Exide that was soaring in trade today. And the move was on the back of an agreement signed between Hyundai and Kia for EV batteries in India. Let's go across to my colleague Srishti. More details on this, Srishti.
Well, yes, big news coming in from Exide, wherein the company has announced that they have signed MOU with 2 of the major OEMs, that is Hyundai Motors as well as Kia, where their focus will be on the localization of EV batteries in India. For both these OEMs, Exide will play its role. What Exide has said that the strategic collaboration marks the beginning of Hyundai Motor and Kia's expansion in India's battery development and production market, and more specifically, they will be focusing on lithium iron phosphate, that is the LFP cells for these OEMs. So Exide is going to play its role in the EV batteries, going to help these OEMs for localization in India, and that's indeed big because as we know that Exide as well as Amara Raja, they have been investing into the EV battery manufacturing space. Over the years, we have seen a lot of announcements during that, but it's still some time then when we will see these batteries coming into play, because for Exide specifically, they have said that initially their EV capacity will be of 6 gigawatt hours, and going ahead, they have planned to double it down to 12 gigawatt hours in the times ahead. They will also come out with their capex plan, but all these EV battery production will actually start from Q4 of FY25. We have already in FY25, so maybe by this year's quarter 4, we will see these batteries getting manufactured. Exide estimate that the lithium battery demand is expected to increase from 50 to 50 gigawatt hours by 2025 and 160 gigawatt hours by 2023. And company has also said in the past that they have already coming out and they're already in discussion with the OEMs for these battery manufacturings. And actually, this is the first announcement that we are seeing from Exide. So this announcement is actually opens the door for more such announcements in the times ahead, is what the analysts believe, and hence the excitement not just in Exide We are seeing stock up of Amara Raja up anywhere between 7 and 8% as well. Back to you.
All right, Shrishti, thanks so much for taking us through that. That stock was the winner in today's trading session, up almost 17%. But let's get to move on and talk about yet another winner, and that was Infoedge, that ended the day with almost a 10% uptick. Now, that stock was flying high on the back of several brokerage notes that we got today. Citi, on one hand, has upgraded the stock to buy, raised the target price. Nomura has also gone ahead and maintained the buy rating for the stock. My colleague Ashesha is joining us with a quick roundup of what those two notes had to say and what impacted the stock so positively. It was up almost 10% today. Ashesha.
Well, yes, a double upgrade has come in from Citi's research desk on Infoedge, and that is the reason the stock is up nearly 8% as we speak. They've gone ahead and upgraded the stock to buy from their earlier sell rating, and the revised target price now stands at 6,650 rupees per share. First up, they talk about the billings business, which is now started to see signs of growth. So for instance, in the fourth quarter, billings business has reported growth of about 7% on a year-on-year basis versus degrowth of about 1% that it had reported in 9 months FY24. They believe that this segment of the business is now perhaps bottoming out and will show signs of growth translating to revenue in FY25 and 26, and this is what makes them very positive on Infoedge. They say they also expect margin expansion from here on. They expect EBITDA margins to come in at 41.6% in FY25 and 42.5% in FY26, better than 40% that they expect for full year FY24. They see multiple potential tailwinds for the company from here on. As far as their billings business is concerned, that is expected to report accelerated growth, and for non-recruitment vehicles, EBITDA is expected to break even in the coming quarter. So very positive report that has come in with a revised target price of 6,650, and Infoedge is soaring on the back of this report.
All right, thanks Aisha for that roundup on Infoedge then. But moving on, Voltas has also achieved a milestone of 2 million AC sales in a year, the first durable company to reach this feat this year. When he's standing by with the snapshot of their FY24 updates as well.
So yes, Voltas is a stock in focus today, where we saw the biggest intraday gain for Voltas since 1st of June 2020. It was up as much as 10% intraday. Voltas shares had risen the most and reached the highest level in almost 2 years. Why is that so, you wonder? That today now Voltas has actually reported over the weekend a 35% volume growth is what they're seeing in the air conditioners business of theirs in FY24, which is around 2 million units, and industry's first company to achieve the milestone in the AC category. Also, let's not forget, 34% is for the full year, but 72% growth even for just Q4 FY24 when you compare, it's a 70% growth. It's not that it was a super low base that, the 72% growth is there. So obviously, demand trends is something that is a growth driver for the company. The underlying demand trend, a robust demand trend, is what you could attribute it to. New innovations that the company has been making in terms of product launches, strong distribution networks both online as well as offline, and let's not forget the brand positioning that they have, a strong brand name that they have, does work out well for the company. Other than that, Voltas Beko also, which is the home appliance side, has also seen a 52% volume growth in Q4 FY24. So very, very strong performance, significant uptick for Voltas, and especially in the AC business where we've seen some good uptick, and because of that, you could expect good demand trends coming in for other companies. We have seen stocks like Blue Star, Amber Enterprises, all of them buzzing it as well, but Voltas clearly taking a big bite over there. 72% growth in terms of an uptick on a year-on-year basis for Q4 in terms of their overall volumes in the AC business is something very interesting.
All right, Vinny, thanks for taking us through that. 6% uptick coming on Voltas, but what are the other stocks that were abuzz in today's trading session? Up and away on the back of their individual news flows or quarter four updates. Gaurav is joining us to take us through a list of that. Gaurav, over to you.
Right. First, let's talk about Nestle India, because recently parent company increased royalty fee to 5.25% versus what it was at 4.5%. Now, because of this news, we saw a negative sentiment heading up in the stock price, and the stock was down almost 1% in today's trade. Let's also talk about Vodafone India, because now company is going to issue 140 crore shares to Aditya Birla Group for a price of 14.87 rupees, which is actually at a premium to a current market price. If we look at the historical trend, we have already seen that company has failed once after raising the funds, and at the same time there will be more funding required according to us, and that is why we saw a negative sentiment hitting up this stock as well. Let's also talk about Wipro, because the current CEO has resigned and now Mr. Srinivas Pallia will take as a CEO. But there are some challenges for the company. So, for example, there has to be survival in the growth, and at the same time, attrition has to be controlled, and that is why a bearish commentary came up from the analysts as well, and we saw stock was also trading down almost 1% in today's trade. Let's now talk about AstraZeneca, because company has partnered with Daiichi Sankyo and became the first company to receive approval for a drug to treat tumor anywhere in the body. And after this news, which came from sources, we saw the stock price shot up almost more than 5% in today's trade. Let's also talk about Godrej Properties now, because company sold houses worth 3,000 crore rupees just within 3 days of launching its product in Haryana. And with this, they also recorded a YoY growth of 473% in the region of Gurugram for FY24. And on back of this, we saw the stock reacted positively in today's trade. Lastly, let's talk about GAIL India, because Morgan Stanley gave a tactical idea for the next 5 days with target price of 254 rupees, because they believe there are multiple levers for the company's share price to increase. And on back of this news, we saw the stock also reacted positively and was up almost 5% in today's trade. So all in all, on top of all these brokerage notes as well as on the news, we will keep an eye on all these stocks and see how they perform in the days coming ahead.
All right, thanks Gaurav for that list of buzzers, but that's all the time that we have on this edition of Your Trades. From me, Shreyansi Singh, Snehi Shah, as well as the entire team that put this show together. Thank you so much for watching.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.